What's going on, folks? You know what day it is. It is
Taco Tuesday.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out why the sounds are picking up on this. I guess it is, just not as much as I want it to be.
Yeah.
Huh. Check. Okay, whatever.
Okay.
It just seems a little muted, that's all. I don't know what's happening right now. It's been a while, guys. It's been a while.
Hey, you guys.
You guys aren't even here with us yet, so it's okay.
We are here, and I am back. Am I wrong?
Mm-hmm. You got it.
Yeah, see, it's been that long. I've been gone that long. I've been gone forever.
Let's see. All right, there we go. We're here. Gloria Woodard says, "Hey y'all.
Hey.
What up, cuz? Can you hear us okay? It feels kind of weird to me. Just want to make sure you guys can hear us okay."
You okay?
Let us know if you can hear us okay.
Okay.
If not, she can hear us. Great.
Okay.
Perfect. Good. All right. Cool. All right, guys. What's going on, folks? We are back. Here's our first time back together in the studio in 5 weeks. 5 weeks. Yeah.
5 weeks. Long time.
It feels good. It feels good to be back. Yeah,
it's been over a month.
Yeah. As you guys remember, if you're watching, we had someone step in.
Yeah.
Our friend Cree was here in place for E. Yes. And then we had the live event.
Yes.
And then we were gone for a couple weeks. Yeah.
So I just wanted to good evening, Natasha.
Good evening, Natasha.
Good evening. So I just wanted to say a little something and let people know exactly. I'm not going to give you too much insight into my personal life, but one thing about KC and I are we try to be always as transparent as possible. Mm-hmm. So the reason I haven't been on the show is because I've been going through a lot in my personal life. My father-in-law was very, very sick. And it got to the point that he needed to come live with my husband and I. So I needed to be home with my husband because my father-in-law needed 24/7 care. And so that was a team effort. It was something my husband and I did together. So in doing that, KC did know. I always told KC what was going on. So I was unable to come to the show. And that's why I'm so grateful and so appreciative that Cree was able to step in because we didn't want to cancel the show because our live was coming up. So we really needed the show to go on. So I'm very, very happy. I'm very grateful and I'm very appreciative that Cree was able to step in.
Thank you, Cree.
Thank you so much and be the co-host. And then shortly after my father-in-law passed away, it was time to plan the funeral. And unfortunately, my body doesn't handle stress very well. So while I was planning my father-in-law's funeral, I had a stroke. So I was in the hospital because I had a stroke. So I was in the hospital for 5 days because I had a stroke. Mind you, I'm still in the hospital trying to plan this funeral because I was determined to make this funeral happen the way my husband wanted it to happen. So I was trying to plan the funeral and get through the stroke. And then the funeral happened. It's past now. It was this past weekend. So I am back. My husband is back and we, we're going through our process. Grieving is a process. So we're still in that process. But that is the reason I was not here. Shortly after my father-in-law passed was our live. So I was able to attend the live. But if you saw the live, you could tell I was there, but I wasn't there because I was taking them back really hard back then. So I just had a lot going on in my personal life. I was very, very stressed. And obviously I was overindulging in alcohol that day. And then unfortunately, shortly after that, maybe a week after that, I had my stroke. So I needed to kind of relax, take it back a little, calm down a little, get through what I needed to get through. And now I'm back. So I appreciate Cree for stepping in. I appreciate everybody who sent DMs, who sent texts, who sent messages. Thank you so very much. I read every single one. Nothing went unnoticed. Everything was appreciated. And I'm so grateful that all of you reached out to see how my husband and I was doing. Thank you so very, very much. Yes. We appreciate it.
And we are happy that you're okay.
I am okay. I am
now
okay.
Finally able to get to the grieving process.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I am okay.
With a smile on her face.
I do.
Yes, now I can grieve. This is how Eva operates.
It really is. So yeah, it is. It's been a process. I'm still going through it, but I am definitely feeling better. So thank you. He checked on us all the time. All the time. So
I just wanted to make sure that she wasn't gonna come back and have to be like that emoji like this.
It's so funny because I did tell him I had a stroke, and he didn't know how to ask. He was just like, "So, are you okay?" He was like, "How do you look?" I was like, "I don't have anything paralyzed on my face." So, hey, Cree. So, I just wanted to let you guys know exactly what happened, why I've been gone for 5 weeks. Mm-hmm. And once again, since she's on now, I really, really appreciate you stepping in, Cree. You were amazing. You did a really good job. And she did great. I was so proud. And I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
So pretty much we picked Creed because it rhymes with E.
It rhymes with my name, so it's perfect.
I'm K.C.
and I'm Cree.
That's the only reason why it worked.
So with that being said, and I am back, and I wanted to tell you guys why I wasn't here. I appreciate everything. K.C. and I are going to take a shot.
Hey. All right. So we're back at it, John. Here's to help.
Just one. That's it. I'm not on.
Cree says, laugh my ass off. Shock K.C. didn't say what kind of stroke. Did I? I might have.
So yes, I'm back. So
cheers. Todd just took a shot with us as well.
Yes, he did. So we're gonna jump into our show this week, you guys. A lot has happened this week. We're not going to go back the last 5 weeks, but we're going to, because so much happened this week that we have to talk about it. So
we got a full show for you guys.
We do. We really do. So the first thing we want to touch on is which one? Which Kelly? Which Kelly do we want to touch on? Robert or Price? Which one?
Well, let's go ahead with let's clear it out with Robert.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just get it over with him, and then we'll go on to our show.
Okay, so he was charged for 9 counts this week.
So yes, if you guys have not been paying attention, R. Kelly has been on trial. We've been, keep you guys up with what has been happening with the trial. The different witnesses that have come up, the crazy stories that have come up in the courtroom, and more.
And a lot of the witnesses were from the show. Like, remember that show that TLC did, Surviving R. Kelly? So a lot of the witnesses are
and a lot of the new ones too.
Right. Yeah. Because it was a gentleman too, and he wasn't on the show. Yeah. So I think it was called Surviving R. Kelly.
Yeah, Surviving R. Kelly.
So a lot of the women who were on, y'all can tell I haven't been here, right? So a lot of the women who were actually on that show was also some of the women who actually took the stand in the court case. And like he just said, some people actually wasn't on the show, but they took the stand also. So I'll let you continue. So
we know that R. Kelly went to jail a long time ago for what was it, in the early 2000s for a little bit.
But it was really quick though.
They dropped that.
Yeah, right? He got out of it. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure how he got out of it, but he most definitely got out of it.
And then Chaji says he was charged and convicted back then, right? Oh, currently, yeah. But back then, he got out of it, and so we kind of just gave him some space. We're like, okay, all right. Obviously, you must not be guilty if you're not going to jail. So let's step in the name of love.
But you know what's crazy? Because I was a young adult when it went down the first time. Very young. I was in my early 20s at the time. But the Beehive.
Cree says, y'all, they call R. Kelly supporters the Beehive.
I can't. I can't. But in our culture, we did know he did it. Like it was, we never questioned it.
The video was going around in my high school like crazy. I mean, she was our age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
she's young.
We knew she was our age. Like,
So in our culture, I don't know why, some reason he got a pass, but because everyone knew he did it. Like it wasn't even questioned. But I don't know how at that time the case was able to be thrown out, or he didn't get convicted. I don't know why. Maybe more women didn't come forward. I'm not exactly sure, but he didn't, and he was able to. He changed his music. He kind of changed it up. That's when he went into the chocolate factory. Yeah, he went into that.
You saved me.
He went into the step in the name of love. He went that direction with his music.
The little gospel.
Yeah, the little gospel. But this time didn't work. He went in this time.
Yeah. So, how many charges?
It's 9 counts.
9 counts.
1 count is racketeering and 8 counts of sex trafficking.
But we can't forget that he still has some. He's not done. He's not done. There's still federal charges that he's facing for. I think 2 counts of, this is in Minnesota, 2 counts of engaging in prostitution with a minor, and then Northern Illinois district, child porn and obstruction and aggravated criminal sex abuse. So he still has those, and he's going to go to he's going to trial for those.
Relax.
Well, you see, when I wrote down these notes, I wrote down the first 3 letters of each word. So it's like CRIM. Oh, in my head it's criminal.
I'm like, relax.
I'm nervous. I haven't done this in a while, guys.
Yeah,
But so I think it's March or May is when he goes.
He goes back to trial. Okay.
Yeah. Hey.
Well, they already had a meme that he's like negative $2 million. Like he's running out of money on a constant basis.
He's lost all it. Like he doesn't have any money. He doesn't have a dime.
Wow. I don't even understand why.
Raven said K.C. drunk.
Literally,
it's the first drink I've had since you were over here a couple years ago. So,
don't be telling Raven's business. Don't be telling her business.
But yeah, so he still has a lot. He has a lot to go. He's not out of the. But you made your bed. You got to pee in it. You got to lay in it.
Most definitely. And they said after he was convicted that his fans was out there and they started playing his music and like Cree just said, they're calling his people the P Hive. I don't know if that's true, but I do think it's funny.
Hey, if we say it, it is now.
So this is the first time he's actually being held accountable for his actions. And I think that's great. He needs to be held accountable.
Even though he's had so many people around him all this whole time. And it's like, I think those people should have some type of charges brought against him too.
Well, they were enablers.
He had a lot of accomplices.
Yeah, they were enablers.
Well, he's not only enablers, but he had people that would go find these girls. He had women that would go find these girls for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are a lot of people involved. Like, they're accomplices.
Agree.
Like,
I agree with you.
They should have some type of,
repercussions.
Yeah,
I agree with you. But
I says the Boondocks was right. The Boondocks is always right.
So
I wish they would come back.
Well, Aaron's not really feeling it.
Yeah.
Look at me. Aaron's not really feeling it. I said it like I could call him on my phone, right? Aaron.
I was close. I was very close. Twice, actually.
I've been closer, probably, but that's okay. So
I mean to be in the voice of the show.
Oh, I meant to Aaron.
Oh,
no. Okay. So, with that being said, we wanted to lead with that because I think a lot of people need to understand that this is really the first time that Robert is. The first time that Robert is actually being held accountable for his actions, and I think that's a big deal. And I'm happy that it's public. I'm happy that it's happening. So hopefully that the people whom this happened to can start to heal and feel some type of satisfaction after it's all done.
Because really, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Are the people, are the victims getting, being able to see that the person that that their abuser,
did this,
getting some type of punishment.
Most definitely.
It's not walking around and being praised, even though he's in prison and he's still being praised by a bunch of crazy people.
Yeah, people protest every day.
Yeah,
you have people protest every day, and
like we know what's up.
But more importantly, I think it's very important for people to understand you have to separate the man and the music.
From the music.
Yeah, and
the artist from the crime.
The man and the music.
True.
He's a man.
And that sounds better too.
And this man made a lot of mistakes. People who still love his music is not saying he was a great man. he made great music, but at the same time, some people just can't. Some people put it together, and you can't put it together. It's unfortunate because he wrote one of my favorite songs. He didn't sing it, but he wrote it. So am I supposed to just hate the song? Fortunate by Maxwell. I love that song.
That's the thing. Like, it's hard to separate the man and the music when you think about the meaning of the music at this point.
Well,
like when it's
especially the first few albums.
The
first few albums.
When you know what he was doing and what he was doing while he was writing these songs. Yeah. It was like, okay, so now the song got a whole different meaning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Taj Matwar says, I say it like he's not right here. He says his fan base is strong. The last time he was in jail, a single woman paid his bail, which was in the high thousands. Cherie Taylor says Boondocks is always right. Yep. Cree says they threw the book at that dude. Too bad he can't read it.
Cree is funny as shit.
Deanna says, good to see you, Eva.
Deanna, thank you so much for the card. It made me so happy. Thank you so much. I really, truly appreciate it. Thank you.
Natasha says the music industry has a history of supporting sex offenders, even Hollywood, to get the entertainment industry.
It's the entertainment industry.
Period. Yeah. The entertainment industry. Period.
Yeah. And they everybody covers it up. And just like you were saying, there's so many other people. You always get that one person, but that one person had accomplices or enablers, like whichever name you want to give them. They didn't do it alone.
Right.
Because they can't hide it from everybody. So someone has to know what's really going on. So sometimes you have to ask yourself about the integrity of that individual, because that individual should be held accountable also.
Yeah.
Because if you're in the car with a robber, even though you got in the car and didn't know he was about to rob it, you're an accomplice because you're sitting in the car. So why aren't the people who was accomplices with the actions that he were taking not being penalized also? So it is a question there of what really happened, because he did have a lot of enablers, and I don't care that they were on his payroll.
This is a decade worth of transgressions.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
So Taj Matwar says age ain't nothing but a number. That was one that he wrote for Aaliyah.
Yeah.
And that has a whole different, it has a meaning there.
They all did.
It had a meaning before, but now it's like really has a meaning.
But we all did. Like I said, when he got in trouble back in, how long ago was it? About
20 years.
20 years ago. We all knew he was guilty. Like,
not even that.
We all
even
knew.
when Age Ain't Nothing But a Number was out, we knew that him and Aaliyah were together.
They were dressing alike.
And we knew how old he was.
They were dressing alike. And people may not understand that, but in the 90s, that was a big thing, because me and T used to dress alike too. So you dress like your person.
She said the 90s. Tahaji has red shorts and a black shirt on right now. He even has a red and black shirt on and black pants on right now.
But this was an accident.
Talk about the 90s.
Don't make it seem like we dress alike. We are actually.
I'm just jealous. I got to buy the dress.
We are just alike, actually, but we didn't notice it till he noticed it.
I noticed it when I opened the door.
we do have on the same colors.
Yeah. Hey, food moved up. Bringing that gang back to this nice Sherman Oaks neighborhood. I live across the street from a Trader Joe's, ma'am.
You can take the girl out of LA. You can't take LA out of the girl. What can I say?
Taj Matwar says, Deanna, thank you so much.
Most definitely.
But yeah, so we got to, like I said, the saga is not over. The saga continues.
But
there's
what
still
he got
more coming out next year.
What he got sentenced for currently, right now, the counts that he got sentenced for, they're saying he can see time from 10 years to life. I think that's a lot of years in between. I wish it wasn't that big of a span personally, but the minimum is 10, and obviously the maximum is life.
Well, they probably take into consideration that he has a lot more stuff coming too. So
yeah, I'm sure.
We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. Now, if we're gonna move,
I never got like triple life and all that stuff. I don't understand how y'all just give me life. Don't give me triple life. So now when I die, I'm still in jail.
Unfortunately, I know a little bit about the jail system. So when you have like double life or triple life, it doesn't really mean that you're going to get out before that, but it affects your probation. It affects you going in front of the
and getting out early.
Getting anything for good behavior, anything. So if you have double life and or triple life, you can't go in front of them and try to ask to get out early for early release, because it's double. You got to knock one of the doubles off before you can even see the panel.
Because if you remember, Eva's been in jail.
I have.
We both have.
Look at me. I didn't even say that. I have.
Chris says the industry was complicit in that. Still shocked at the interview when they asked 14-year-old Aaliyah how old she is and if she's dating R. Kelly with him present. She was told to keep her age a secret.
Mm-hmm. Always. But you can look at her and tell she was a kid.
Taji said age ain't. Oh, no, that's not what he said. He said he ain't getting out.
That's not what he said. And so we're going to move on from Robert Kelly to talk about Kelly Price.
Yes.
You know, because she's been in the news a lot this week also.
Yes.
So what's going on?
So singer Kelly Price was recently in the news because I don't know if you saw on social media, it went pretty viral that Kelly Price was missing, and she became a missing person. Now, keep in mind, this is in the midst of a lot of women coming up missing, and they have the whole missing white woman syndrome conversation going on, and so then of course you see all the trend of different women that are missing, and here comes Kelly Price. Pops up right in the middle of all of it. And
in Atlanta, Georgia. This happened in Georgia. In Georgia.
And this comes after a couple months after she says, she goes on live and tells everyone that she was fighting COVID, that she had COVID. So a lot of people were worried. A lot of people were putting out, find Kelly Price, find Kelly Price. Celebrities are posting it and all types of stuff. And turns out, that TMZ was tipped off by her sister, saying that they couldn't get a hold of her, they hadn't spoken to her, and they hadn't seen her, they hadn't heard from her since she got released from the hospital. Right. So they knew that she got released from the hospital after she had COVID, and they hadn't heard anything. So and
then it came out shortly.
They were
something
worried
about the gentleman that she's with, the guy that she's with. Okay.
Well, the family, who, by the way, are the only people that are talking to anyone. Who are people that know the least are the ones that are talking to everyone. It came out that she hadn't been talking to the guy she's with. I don't know if it's her boyfriend, fiance, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what his title is.
But he hadn't allowed her to see their kid or her kids, and hadn't allowed her to see the family and all types of crazy stuff.
Right.
And Kelly Price, her attorney, made a statement and said that she's fine. She's at home recovering from COVID, and she's just laying low. And she wants you guys to respect her privacy.
Yes.
Makes sense. That wasn't enough.
No, people want to see her.
Yeah. So then she has to go on live, and she makes a statement. She makes
of course,
a statement.
K.C. has it, you guys.
She goes on live, and this is what she has to say.
A couple of days later, and the first thing I remember is the team of doctors standing around me and asking me if I knew what year it was.
Wait, when you say they lost you, can you clarify what that means?
Yeah, I died.
I thought that was going to be a lot longer. My bad. I guess it was broken up in multiple clips. I only put one clip on there.
We both thought it was going to be long.
Well, let me tell you what she said in her statement, because actually I watched the whole thing. So she mentioned that she was in the hospital and she was on a respirator, and she got sent home, because, the hospitals were filling up. And so they sent her home, but they sent her home with oxygen and all that stuff. And so her and her boyfriend, or whoever he is, they both had COVID. So they were both at home, and they both, no one was coming in or coming out because the two of them were together and they had COVID together. Okay. So they were quarantining together. Now, when it comes to her not speaking to the family, she said she hadn't spoken to her sister in almost 2 years.
So this isn't new.
Yeah, they don't get along. Okay. They're estranged. So that's nothing. There's nothing weird about that. But her sister, wanted to make a big deal out of it. Mm-hmm. And in this clip, if you notice, she says that she came to after 2 days she woke up, and they asked her what year it was. Turns out while she was fighting COVID, she coded, which means she essentially died.
She died.
Yeah. And so imagine fighting COVID for over a month, dying coming back, and then you got to deal with all this. And then you got to make a live. You got to go on live and tell everyone, no, I'm okay.
Yeah, because the public doesn't believe that your lawyer actually spoke to you.
Yeah. It's like you're doing all the steps so you can just recoup.
Exactly.
Because you do have a career that relies very much so on your lungs. And it's a virus that really attacks your lungs.
Respiratory system.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So she's trying to, figure that out, going through the stress of, am I going to have a career? Because I know for me, when I got COVID, my whole upper register was gone. I still don't have a falsetto. I don't have anything. So
his album's going to be different now.
My album's completely different now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to change my whole karaoke playlist. Like dead ass. It's like honestly though, out of everything with COVID, like that was the most because even my career had to take a pivot after I got COVID, you know.
Most definitely.
But me losing my upper register was like the most depressing part of me having COVID. Period.
I had COVID.
I don't make
my
money.
Voice is still
I don't make money from my voice. You know what I'm saying? Imagine making money from your voice. Imagine making money from your voice and you're like trying to figure this out. Now you got the whole world thinking that you're missing, you're dead, and it's okay. She got to redo those anyway.
Okay.
That you're dead, and then you got your sister like just telling all these lies about you.
Yeah.
And then you making your attorney, which usually is good enough, be your spokesperson.
But unfortunately, this time it wasn't enough because her sister was pressing the issue so bad it made the tabloids press the issue so bad that she had to actually come out.
And I'm not sure if it's true, but I heard something about her sister having an album coming out as well.
Really?
So this is before Kelly resurfaced with her video. So this is when she was still missing.
Sister trying to get her 15 minutes of fame too.
Right. I'm just like, come on, man. Like, this is your family. And if y'all got issues, y'all keep that to you. Keep
that inside.
Don't bring the world into this because now you got a lot of people. A lot of people might not care much about you, but a lot of people care about Carrie Price. You know what I'm saying? So
Kelly,
my tongue didn't hit my teeth, the top of my tongue. I mean, the top of my mouth, like it should have. All right, but you knew what I'm talking about.
It didn't hit it at all.
It gave a little brisk. It gave a little brisk swipe. All right, it gave a brisk swipe. But but they care about her, So now you got all these people, all of her friends, all of her fans worried about her, and she's just at home trying to recover.
Exactly.
Just trying to recover.
And so jumping from Robert Kelly to Kelly Price, we're going to go straight into.
Well, so we're just sending Kelly lots of love and healing energy.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
And,
most definitely.
She just released new music recently. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
the hospitals aren't full. Like I said, I was in the hospital because I had a stroke, so I wasn't on the COVID floor. Mm-hmm. But when I got to talking to everybody on the floor, my friendly ass. I knew all the doctors and nurses. And, I was in there so long, and they were telling me, if I had came in there for COVID and not what I came in there for, they would have had to release me too. They wasn't keeping people unless you were like really, really sick.
Mm-hmm.
On the COVID floor, I was at Kaiser Permanente. So Kaiser has, I think, 3 COVID floors, and they were all overcrowded. Mm-hmm. But I was on the stroke floor, so my floor wasn't as. I was the youngest thing on the damn stroke floor.
Dealing with family. See?
Dealing with family. Yes.
See? She gets you, Kelly.
I do.
She gets you, Kelly.
So
Eva got an album coming out too.
My upper register is fine. COVID didn't fuck mine up. I can hit all my notes. My upper register is kicking.
Oh,
so
man.
We're going to move from that and we're going to talk about, I think you wanted to touch on Diddy and Bow Wow.
Yeah, we like to follow Diddy a little bit, his love life, because it's just fun.
It's interesting.
It's just fun. I'm pretty sure it's more fun being in it. But yet again, Diddy has, in the industry, I guess a lot of people are passed around and go from person to person, and I'm not saying anything about Joy, but
that's definitely who you said something about.
We spoke a long time ago about Diddy and his son's ex-girlfriend, Lori Harvey, mm-hmm. which is Steve Harvey's stepdaughter.
Mm-hmm.
And now,
Diddy
has been seen. Well, he threw a party for Bow Wow's baby mama.
Well, she's Bow Wow and Future's baby mama.
Yeah. See, pass around. But they were a party out of the country for her birthday, and they were seen all hugged up and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, it's alleged that they're together.
Right.
Makes sense. So, Bow Wow, keep in mind that he is part of the Ciroc branding team.
Yes.
So he's helping sell Diddy's
Ciroc.
Yeah, he pushes Ciroc, which is Diddy's vodka and brandy brand.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. And so Joy, who is the mother of his
daughter,
11-year-old daughter.
Yeah, she's a big girl.
Yeah. I think she's like 11 or so. They're together, and Bow Wow in the interview mentioned that he had a talk with Diddy about the situation, and he actually said, "Yeah, I talked with dude." And whenever anyone said I talk with dude, it's not all.
Well.
Yeah.
especially if you know dude.
Right. And so he was like, "Yeah, I talked to dude, and we talked for like an hour or so, and it was he know how I feel, I know how he feel, and we came to understanding." So,
well, he's still promoting Ciroc, right?
Yeah. I mean,
so they obviously,
and he also said that him and Joy hadn't been together for like 13 years.
Yeah,
so,
a long time.
Yeah. So, is that enough time, like in the past for? Is that enough time passed for your associate to get with your girl?
Well, I think it has a different point of view just because Diddy signs the front of the check for Bow Wow because he's on the Ciroc branding team and Diddy owns Ciroc. So obviously he signs the front of the check for Bow Wow. So if Bow Wow didn't want to deal with it no more, he could have pulled out. But at the end of the day, why pull out if you're not dealing with her like that? I feel like that's
how we got the baby.
I feel like the only conversation that needed to be had was, be good to my daughter, treat my daughter right. Because she does have a daughter. They do have a daughter together. Mm-hmm. But besides that, 13 years is a long time. Mm-hmm. So, I mean.
But in the case of his son, that was like a few months.
Yeah, but she doesn't have a son with him.
Yeah. But, I mean, he lived in a house with Diddy.
So, I think 13 years is
Diddy signs Bow Wow's checks, and Diddy supported Christian.
His son?
Yeah, or Justin. No, it's Christian. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's Diddy's son.
That's what I'm saying. He signs Bow Wow's checks, and so it's like, okay, if I sign your checks,
you mean the son that dated Lori?
Yeah.
Justin.
That was Justin.
Yeah,
okay,
Justin
okay.
dated Lori.
Yeah. And it's like I sign your checks and I house you. I put a roof over your head, so I can do whatever I want.
Do whatever the hell I want. Not saying that's the best answer or the best way a parent should think, but I'm sure that's how he feels.
Hey,
so.
He said, as long as you guys are living under my house, anything that come in here, I get it first. Taji says, basically, Diddy said, with or without your blessing, it's happening.
Yep.
But I felt this was the right thing to do, respectfully.
I love how they throw respectfully at the end of shit, and it's the most disrespectful shit. But they just throw respectfully on the end, and somehow that's supposed to make everything better in this generation. I think it's hilarious.
Sheree Taylor says, Diddy taking care of the daughter on both ends. Whose daughter?
Whose daughter?
Bow Wow's daughter?
Yeah.
Oh, well, in the home and signing checks for Bow Wow.
That's a good point.
She'd be like, he ain't paying me no child support. Well, I just.
Well, do you want the Ciroc check? I just gave him some money. I just gave him an advance.
He'd be like, listen, Shad, so I'm just going to give this check straight to her. Because.
That's horrible. Yeah, but that could work, though. that really could work though. So,
right. We should see.
That is our
so
chips
best
and
of luck.
dip.
Best of luck to Joy and Diddy.
For as long as they can. Yeah, however long it happens, let it happen.
That's gonna be me when I get older, I guess.
When you get older.
My thing is they're all so young. Like his girls are all so young.
Yeah, but older men like young women.
He's an older man.
if I'm not mistaken, Diddy is in his 50. Early 50s, right?
Yeah, he's in his 50s.
Okay, I think his birthday's coming, so he's probably
about to be 51. A good 20 years.
Well, how old is Joe?
Hey Google, how old is Joy Chavez?
I can't stand that he asks Google.
You say anything?
No, I'll
he
find
didn't.
out. Yeah, I don't think she's as young as you think.
I mean, she got to be as young as I am, at least, or younger.
That's not 20 years. You're not 20 years younger than Diddy.
Diddy's like 52.
He's 51, I think. Wait a minute.
Let's
Now
see.
you got me all invested in this. I don't think she's as young
Francisca
as you
French
think.
says, but Lori was like 23 or 22
Now,
or 24.
Lori was young. Lori was young. I will say that shit. She was young. God damn it. Why won't it tell me her birthday? I said, how old is she? How old is she?
Does anyone know? Anyone know how old Joy
Oh, she's
Chavez?
33.
33. See?
She's 33.
So that's 20 years.
Well, yeah, because he's about 51, 52. Yeah, that's 20.
Yeah, he's like 51 because
so.
I catered his 49th birthday party in 2000 and
You was working for him in 2018.
18. Yeah. Yeah, so 51.
I know
52.
that. That's sad, but I knew it. I knew it too.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. Now Lori was in her early 20s because I was old enough to be Lori Harvey's mom.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, Diddy's old enough to be her dad.
Yeah, but I'm younger than him. So that's.
No, I mean he's old enough to be Joy's dad.
Yeah, he could have had her.
So-
Yeah, she can't be too far off.
He could have had her in his 20s.
Yeah.
So,
But 20 years varies depending on the age of 20 years.
Lord.
You don't think so?
Not when.
Oh my gosh. What?
Whoa. Whoa.
Hold on. Wait.
How do we block?
I just looked and was like, what the hell?
And I'm just putting shit up.
Right there.
There we go.
Yeah.
Wow.
K.C. was not paying attention.
I'm just putting comments. It was a lot more than that, y'all. If y'all didn't see.
It just came like boom, boom, boom. Oh my gosh. I was
Wow.
ready. Okay. So moving on from that, there is something that is going on in Los Angeles right now that I kind of want to touch on.
Yes.
And it is our homelessness issue.
Mm-hmm.
So Los Angeles has a lot going on right now in the news, in the courtrooms regarding our homelessness issue. Just to give people a clearer picture of exactly how bad the homelessness issue is here in Los Angeles County. Right now, our homelessness is around, we can't get an exact number, obviously, but it is around 66,436 people that are homeless in the county of Los Angeles. So just so you guys can have a clear understanding, when I say the county, Los Angeles, I mean, everybody's built in counties. Los Angeles consists of 88 cities. In these 88 cities, they're called incorporated. So cities are considered incorporated and unincorporated. Incorporated cities are cities who have political officials. So they have assemblymen, councilmen, what's aldermen. Yeah, things like that. Those are the incorporated cities. They became incorporated in Los Angeles County. So we have 88 cities that's incorporated in Los Angeles County.
So when someone says I live in LA, that could be
88 different cities.
Yeah.
88 different cities fall under that. So in between those 88 cities incorporated and the small cities that's unincorporated, the ones that you won't find on the map, they're just kind of the hoods of the city. We have 66,436 homeless people. So our homelessness situation is ridiculously bad.
and getting worse by the day.
It's just getting worse by the day. So right now in NoHo, they have opened up the opportunity.
NoHo is North Hollywood.
North Hollywood. I'm sorry for those who don't live here. It's WeHo and NoHo. West
Till we're
Hollywood.
banging.
I am NoHo. So in North Hollywood, they've done something that's really remarkable, and they have put together in small little communities, kind of like on lots and stuff that homes aren't, these little small tiny homes to help the homelessness issue. But this is only in the city of North Hollywood. This is not everywhere else. And remember, I just told you it's 88 cities in Los Angeles County. So this is not county Any homelessness that we may have in Orange County or San Bernardino or wherever else is only in Los Angeles County that this homelessness issue is this large. They're not counting all the other cities. They're not even counting the North. Like that's not even counting Frisco and Fresno in the Bay, in Oakland. It's only counting Los Angeles County. So we almost have 70,000 homeless people in Los Angeles County. That's a lot of homeless people. And then they put these tiny homes just in North Hollywood, but you have so many people fighting this because they don't want them on their blocks. But then you just have in downtown LA where our Skid Row is. That's where most of our homeless people go, to Skid Row. You have the business owners, and you have a lot of people who are renovating the apartments and renovating the buildings downtown Los Angeles. So because they're renovating the buildings, they put in a court order because they feel the politicians have been negligent on actually acknowledging the homeless issue. And so you got all these property owners and different people who put in a court order to have this looked at and have this attacked. And today the court rejected the court order. They overturned it, and they said, once again, they've put the homelessness on a board and stuck a pin in it.
Right.
How can you stick a pin in 70,000 homeless people? That just makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So with the recall and everything that happened here, that was one of the biggest issues that people wanted our governor, Gavin, to really acknowledge, because you have all these people sitting in seats. Like Maxine Waters is, sitting in, she's a congresswoman. I think Maxine Waters is a congresswoman. She's a congresswoman for a district in Los Angeles that she does not reside in. She does not live in her district, but she's been holding that seat a long time, and she has so much to say about, what did she just have something to say about Biden? And I think the Haitians, what was going on at the Haitian border in Texas. And I'm not saying that doesn't need attention. It does. But she also needs to pay attention to exactly what's going on in her district, in what she was hired to do, in what she was hired to run. And she's not paying attention to that. 70,000 people approximately are homeless in Los Angeles County. And somehow nobody is paying attention to that. But you have North Hollywood, who came up with a solution. But they can only put these tiny homes on little adjacent blocks. So you may have 6 here and 10 here and 15 here. And they're tiny. They're very, very small. So it isn't like 3 or 4 people can live in this home. And then my question is, what are they doing to give you the incentive to start shelters? See, I feel like Los Angeles County gives you so many incentives for transitional housing. They give so many incentives for people who come home from prison. If you start a transitional house, they're called transitional houses. Back in the day, they were called halfway houses. And people would come home from jail and they had to stay in these houses and get their life together and see their PO and everything like that. But you gave people incentives. So that's why so many people did the transitional housing. And they get just as many incentives now, if not more. But somehow they won't give the same incentives if you was to open up a shelter, or you was to open up to something where these homeless people can at least sleep safely. You have so many people sleeping in these encampments, and people just are grabbing parking lots and grabbing blocks, and now they're buying tents. And it's just, have we gotten to the point that we're just ignoring the homeless in Los Angeles County? How do you ignore 70,000 people? It just does not make any goddamn sense.
And like Cruz said, the history of Skid Row tells you everything you need to know about how LA views our homeless people.
Oh, most definitely.
I mean, it's going to be a whole new chapter after the pandemic.
Because we have more people are losing their homes because for a long time you had landlords and owners who couldn't kick people out of their homes because they was protected under the COVID. Well, under the COVID rule, I think it was a coronavirus situation where people couldn't be kicked out of their homes.
Well, that's over now.
That is over now. Because now they're doing these mandates, and everybody got a mandate so they can go to work and they can do this and they can do that. So you're going to have more people who lost their jobs, and and then EDD has stopped, for a lot of people in California. I can only speak about California. That's the only one I'm really aware of, but a lot of the pandemic EDD has stopped here also. So it just, it leaves a hole in your heart to really wonder what they're doing. And see, they haven't exactly put out the ages of these 70,000 people. But if you go in Venice Beach,
there's a lot of kids.
It's a lot of young people. A lot of babies. It's a lot of young people.
I spend a lot of time on Skid Row.
You do.
And,
You're big on giving back. That's why he spends time on Skid Row. Explain why you spend time.
Well, that and I was homeless myself out here, but there's a ton of mothers with multiple children, babies, kids that have to watch their younger siblings while mom goes to figure out,
the next move.
Yeah, what the next move is, and so. Yeah, the age range is from babies to babies up. There's no.
And you have so many churches who try to do the shelter thing, but they have to stand in line at like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon just to get a bed. And shelters have to be gender specific because you can't mix the men with women.
Right.
So you have to be mindful of that. So a lot of the churches give the beds to women and children. Sometimes the men don't get beds.
Yeah.
And then you do have a few churches who give the men beds also. And then they have to be out by a certain time also.
And that's not the safest situation.
No,
either.
it's not always safe for
That's
them.
a place to rest your body, but not rest your
mind.
Your mind, because you have to be up. You can't go to sleep in those places. You can get especially as a female, even in the all-female home,
you can get raped.
You can get raped. You can get your stuff stolen.
Yeah, it's really sad. And like Chris said, if you knew the history of Skid Row, and then to find out that they did this, court order, the property owners and everything, because like I said, they're renovating downtown Los Angeles, and for the court just to kick it out was just like a whole slap in the face to the city of LA and the homelessness issue. And then right now we have so many of our freeways right on the side, catching fire because you have so many people who are living up there. So they're cooking something or they're preparing something. So a lot of times when you get on our freeways, you see fire trucks everywhere and they're all on the side of the freeway, getting out of fire.
Yeah. Cherie Taylor says, but it's partly because Americans still view LA/Hollywood as a place to go and become rich and famous. Well, yes, Skid Row and the streets of Skid Row are littered with broken dreams and hopes, but also just people trying to live, period. The minimum wage does not balance with the cost of living out here at all.
No, not at
all. The minimum wage just went up to $15. Now, might sound like a lot out there, but we're talking a place.
But to live here, it's not.
Like a 2-bedroom is $3,000 a month. Just wrap your head around that.
And they only make it $15.
And $15 an hour. And this is not a luxury spot. Like this, it's nice. It's nice, but it's not luxury.
No, no, it's
you walk out my door, you're outside.
It's really ridiculous, and sometimes I feel like we do not hold our politicians accountable. They tell us all these things that they're going to do. They tell us all these things that they're going to make happen, and then they don't. Gavin did the recall, and in the recall, he, I don't remember him speaking much on the homelessness issue, like during the recall. Larry Elder, who was one of his big competitors, he spoke on the homelessness issue, but very small. But one thing that he said that stuck out to people was he was going to get rid of a minimum wage. So that's where he lost a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because how you going to get rid of a minimum wage in one of the most expensive states to live
in?
So now you're going to let an employer, a small business owner say, well, I'm going to pay you $7 an hour, $8 an hour. Well, hell, they can't survive in nowhere.
When I came out here, minimum wage was, I think, like $7.50.
When did you get here?
2006.
Oh, because my first job, I can tell you, the very first job I was in high school. Minimum wage was, how much was it, T? $4.35. It was cheap.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't $5 an hour.
Yeah.
Back then, when I got my first job in high school.
And the cost of living is, minimum wage went up, but cost of living is triple.
Well, it's triple since.
Yeah.
In particular cities is more than others.
So when I moved out here, minimum wage was like $7.50. My first place was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and it was $16.50.
Wow.
Yeah, for a 2, and it was nice. Had washer and dryer inside the unit, dishwasher, pool, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? $16.50 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2006. Now here we go. That was what, $7.50, 2006. Here we are, 2021, and the minimum wage has only gone up to $15. And that same place is probably $2,700. Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
So,
man, my first apartment in Los Angeles, our rent was $385.
Wow.
And we had a big ass 1-bedroom.
Wow.
It was
and y'all left why?
And when our rent went up to $425, we was livid.
What you mean $425?
We was like, what do you mean? We was livid. Yeah, it was $385.
That's wild. Well,
Yeah.
it went up and it went up so fast too. It went up with like it doubled within like a year and a half because I remember my last house, the house on Ensign, not the one that I lived in.
No, the prior one.
Yeah. That was what 5 bedrooms, 2 stories, and we were paying like $2 something a month for that place. But because they got the place in 2011 and got in at a great price, and you can only raise the rent a certain amount of times. I mean, a certain amount per year.
3%.
A certain percentage. And so by the time that we left that place, we were paying $2,800 for the whole house, and their mortgage was $3,000. So they were actually losing money by us being there.
Yeah,
but we had been there for so long and all, but then my landlord got cancer and died, and then they sold the place. Yeah. But yeah, it's like, so then we, started looking for places, and it's like, when did this happen?
So
like, what? We're looking at all the prices for everything. We're like, what the hell?
It's so expensive.
Yeah.
So when you just think about that, and you have approximately 70,000 people who don't have anywhere to live, it just really makes you think, what the hell are the politicians doing? Like, don't get me wrong, Maxine Waters wanted to speak about what was going on at the Texas borders, and it was necessary. It was necessary for her to speak, but she also really needs to pay attention what's going on in her district. It's not, I'm not just saying in Los Angeles. She's a congresswoman who runs a district here. I think her district is 43 or 46. I forget the number, but she has a district she needs to pay attention to. So I think, and not just in Los Angeles, but everywhere, we have to start holding our politicians more accountable. Yeah. They have to be held accountable.
How do we do that?
Well, first of all, what people don't know is you can call your local politicians. There are direct numbers to call. Now, I'm not saying you're always going to get a human, but you may get a message. But if you constantly call, you can also write, politicians, and you have to pay more attention to the elections that go on within your city. You have to pay more attention to the people who are running, and you have to really get deep and dig deep into what they want to do and what they believe in, because it matters. There is no reason we should have 70,000 people approximately
and
homeless,
growing and rising
constantly, because it's winter, it's Christmas. A lot happens. This is the time of year where more people get depressed, more people get lonely, more people drink.
And you'll see if you drive down the street, look on the bridges, you'll see like full apartments worth of stuff. Like you'll see sofas and love shops and dressers, because people are legit having to move their stuff right out of their apartment straight to the street with nowhere to go. Yeah. Tahaji says the U.S. Treasury may run out of money by 10/18, which could affect unemployment, Social Security, and military payments, which could cause more homelessness. Yeah. Cherie Taylor says, I'm gonna stop complaining about my 3-bedroom, 1-bath duplex because my rent is a third of that. Yeah. Tahaji says, stop voting for people simply because they've been in office a long time. Yeah, we definitely got to do your research. We talked about this at the live.
Yeah, it's just important. I've always been very passionate about the homelessness situation in Los Angeles. And as I've gotten older and just became more aware, just driving, I see more tents everywhere. Tents are everywhere in LA now. And it's just sad, because the people who are living in these tents, they just, they're on hard times. They're just having bad times. Like KC said, some of them have furniture and apartments full of furniture on the block, like sitting there. They have a couch, they have a chair. T and I have seen refrigerators and microwaves. Obviously they don't have nowhere to plug them, because they're outside. So it's, they're on main streets. They're not on like side streets. These are main streets in Los Angeles that they're on. So out of these 88 cities that's incorporated, it just makes you think, what are the people in political office in these 88 cities actually doing? You have people who are complaining, who's pushing things to the court, and they want the court to help the homelessness, but they're not actually giving the court a suggestion or a resolve. It's so quick to point out a problem, but if you're just saying to a child, you need to learn how to spell better, that's not really solving the problem for the child. The child needs you to solve, like maybe you should use cue cards, or maybe you should do this. And I feel the same thing is what we have to do to these politicians. Like, okay.
And that's why we're here. And that's why we do what we do. That's why I love our podcast so much, because we don't just give you problems. We give you solutions, like Eva just gave you one of them. How do you get a hold of people? How do you make change?
Well, you can most definitely call your congressman. You can, I don't care where you live, even not in California, you can call your congressman. You can write your congressman, and you have the power to vote them in and vote them out. We was able to have a recall over on our governor, Gavin Newsom, because we got enough signatures on a petition to actually have it on the ballot. and actually do it. And other cities and states can do this too. I don't know everybody's homelessness issue, but for everybody who lives in Los Angeles or anybody who knows somebody who is struggling out here, there are things they can do, because I truly feel they need to put some type of incentive program to help people, to give people a desire to open more shelters. You know, when you mark things nonprofit, you know, nonprofit get a lot of breaks, but it's really hard to start a nonprofit, and it's really hard to maintain a nonprofit, and it's hard to pay your employees when you have a nonprofit. So if you want them to always register as nonprofits, it can be very unattractive to some people who want to be business owners. But if the state gave people more incentives like they do with the transitional housing, with shelters, I do think more people of color will open up shelters and start shelters and really help our homelessness issue. So that's my resolve. Give people more incentives, like you give them incentives to help the people who's coming out of prison. Give them incentives to help the people that's homeless also. So be mindful of that and see what's going on in your community and really make an impact and make a difference on what's going on in your community. Because I would hate for any other city that I'm unaware of to have an approximate 70,000 people homeless as winter is approaching.
Yeah. I'm so happy to have you back, Eva. Oh, that's my E. Yeah, talk your shit, Eva.
Yeah, I've been really following the news with this. It's just been really on my heart, and it's got to be something, you know, but they're not giving the incentives that people need. And I know so many people personally who are starting these transitional houses. So I know the incentives that they're getting because they're telling me. And I'm just like, why won't they give those same type of incentives for a shelter? Yeah. But they won't. And that's why you're so grateful that they have the churches that's doing it. But the churches are suffering. These churches get, you know, that people the kids picking at their walls and their bathrooms. You know, it's hard. You know, things get stocked up and backed up in their bathrooms and their toilets. Mind you, churches are a nonprofit also. So people got to be mindful of that. You know, nonprofits are great. I'm not knocking nonprofits, but sometimes people need something that's profitable. So they'll get more of an incentive to want to be a part of it and to want to start it. It's really hard to pay a team of people when you're a nonprofit.
Well, hey, these pastors know how to make that happen.
They do. They hustlers.
Right.
So I just need people to be more mindful of that and really pay attention to what's going on, you know, in your community, in your neighborhood, and really be mindful that you do have a voice and you can make an impact. It's not going to be an impact over 24 hours, but it is going to be an impact if you get a community behind you. So I think it's great that North Hollywood has started the tiny house program. I'm definitely going to look more into it, but I would like to see that program amongst all of the different cities in Los Angeles and not just North Hollywood right now. Right. But I do know North Hollywood has a really large homeless issue going on also.
Yeah. Tahaji says, veterans who fought for us coming back home to nothing.
True.
Cree says, if Uncle Sam ain't got it, I know damn well these collectors don't think I got it. She said, I'm simply stunting like my daddy at this point. And Natasha says, preach, Eva. Yeah, man.
So I just really wanted to touch on that subject of what's going on in the homeless, you know, situation. And
well, you touched it, you teased it, you
and for people who live here. Shut up. I just really wanted to touch on that real quick for you guys.
Yeah. No, very important because it's something that we all see here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You can't, there's no way you could ignore it.
And then something else that's going on that I actually am not super knowledgeable about is I just found out that United Airlines is letting go almost 600 employees throughout the United States because they refuse to get vaccinated.
Oh, man, we're supposed to talk about this, too.
And
about New York, too.
Oh, yeah. And I just had as soon as I was told that information, the first thing I thought was, well, if they lose their job, you know, when you lose your job, you go report for EDD or unemployment in your state, you know, wherever state you live in. But are they going to consider that insubordination? Right. Because they didn't take the vaccine.
Or violating policy.
Or violating policy. Because I don't know if a lot of people know, but where I've worked, I've had to fill that form out when people lose their job, and EDD sends it to the employer. And insubordination is actually one of the boxes you can check. Now, if a company checks that you were insubordinate, your unemployment is denied in California. I don't know how it works in other states, but if a person checks insubordinate, you don't get unemployment. You have to appeal it, and it's a whole process, but you don't get unemployment. So I'm really concerned that all of a sudden these people are forced to take a vaccine that they don't want to take or they don't feel safe taking, and you're going to fire them. But more importantly, are they going to be able to get unemployment when they get off?
I get so mad when people call me during the show. But yeah.
So I don't even know exactly how that's going to work. So I'm a little concerned.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be looking into it because I think it's ridiculous. And then in New York, they are forcing their healthcare workers to have a vaccine. I think it was by 12 midnight tonight or last night. Tonight. So by 12 midnight tonight in the state of New York, the governor said if they do not have the vaccine, they are fired. They are fired. They are fired. Yeah. Mind you, these are the same people who was on the front line before we really was more knowledgeable about COVID, who was just wearing, my husband worked at a hospital. So he said it's called the PPE, like what they had to wear. And they were on the front line, not knowing what this virus was going to do, but they was there and we called them heroes. And now we're firing them.
Well, Natasha says, this is a touchy subject concerning vaccine mandates. Healthcare workers across the country are being fired for not complying. Now, this is not, to me, like I say, it's all like it's nothing new. Like a lot of people in the healthcare world have had to take vaccines to keep their jobs for a very long time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I know people personally who had to take vaccines for a very long time. Yeah. And I feel like in this situation, the fact that if you're not getting a vaccine, then it's going against what your company stands for. You know, it's like what your whole world stands for is, you know, going by the science and the data and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, so what are your, like, other than you having health issues that will prevent you from taking the vaccine, which I'm pretty sure it could be looked at, you know what I'm saying? Other than that, why are you not complying with the world that you chose to be your career? Okay. You know what I'm saying? It's like our whole world is, you know, you go to school, everyone in that world, you know, for the most part, go to school and study, you know, all the stuff, and which is what all this information is based on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, so how are we supposed to expect, how do we expect, you know, people to comply if you're not complying? Okay. You know what I'm saying? This is what this is what we've studied. This is what we've been working our asses off over the past year and a half for. And if this is not the world, the field that you believe in, then don't be in this field. Now she did mention that they were going to take a lot of people that were in the military and reserves, National Guard and stuff like that, who were who had, you know, nursing experience, stuff like healthcare experience, and they were going to, you know, implement them into the system. Also, which is kind of weird to me, they're allowing people whose licensing has been lapsed and expired to become
go back into the medical field.
Back into the field as well. So that's because I'm like, okay, well, why did they let their license lapse and expire? So
my question would be to you, for the people who refuse to do it, the nurses or the LVNs, the RNs, for the people who refuse to do it, should they be called insubordinate when they try to go get unemployment?
Right. That's
see, I think that's where my disconnect is. Like, are you calling them in? Because in the state of California, if you're an insubordinate employee, you are denied unemployment. It's not a if, it's not an and, it's not a but. You are denied unemployment. You have to appeal it. Like it's a much longer process if you're considered you lost your job because you was an insubordinate employee. So I get what you're saying, but then it's like, so if how does that work? Because they chose not to do something that they don't believe in or they don't want to do, you know. So I'm gonna have to pay closer attention to it. Maybe talk to some HR people in the healthcare field. Right. The HR people I know are not in the healthcare field, they're in entertainment. And I just wonder how that works.
I mean, because it is something that they've had to deal with before, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Because like there are plenty of companies and organizations that are in the health world, health field that have always required you get a vaccination. Yeah. So I'm sure they've had to deal with that before. It's nothing. Why I keep saying disable.
And I agree with what you're saying, because a lot of people in the healthcare world have to get the flu shot. You know, you got to get the flu shot or you guys can't come back to work. Right. So, and they do. So I get what you're saying right now.
Natasha says, I talk to workers every day that have to choose between being vaccinated or have no paycheck. I understand they want to have a choice, but the employer is choosing not to pay you.
Okay.
So Taji says, what happened to my body, my choice? What happens if I'm fully vaccinated as a healthcare worker and still get COVID-19? At that point, how am I any different from any unvaccinated person? When they know what you tried.
That's it. That's all you got.
I did my best.
That's all you got.
Well, guys, he tried. Yeah, he gave half the staff COVID, but he tried.
So I just have a lot of questions about how it works.
I mean, we all do.
Yeah.
And the people that are handing down these
rules,
mandates, they have a lot of questions too, but they don't want to make it seem like they have questions. You know what I'm saying?
They want to make it seem like they have the answers, but
yeah,
a lot of us, the people who were born during the Spanish flu are old as hell or dead.
Right.
So you can't say, oh, this is what happened last time. It's a whole different world now.
Right.
So it just makes me wonder, and then, I'm concerned because I do have a lot of friends in the medical field. And I'm just like, the first thing I thought of when they said that was, well, how are they going to get unemployment? Mm-hmm. Like that was the first thought I had. Right. I was like, because they're going to consider them insubordinate, and I was concerned. So I started telling my friends, like, well, find out if you can still get your unemployment if you don't do it this way, because I think you're going to be considered insubordinate. Mm-hmm. So I just wonder how they're going to walk that line, because it sounds like they don't want people to have a choice.
Natasha says it's all about money.
Most definitely.
I don't know about that, because
why you say that?
I'm thinking, where's the money? Like, where is the money coming from?
Insurance. Because your insurance pays for you to get the vaccine.
Everything I've seen, they were getting out for free. I've got my vaccine for free. But whose insurance though?
Yeah, but you're not paying for it directly with your insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Kaiser, you're not paying for it directly. Kaiser gets the money, but Kaiser pays
Pfizer. That's what Haji is saying.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like,
well, I thought it was through insurance. I would think your insurance is
no,
is
because all these places, like, I've never been asked for my insurance information for it. Everything that I've seen, if you look up everything, like, it's always free. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, where's this money coming from? And then on top of that, it's like, I understand them wanting to open up everything so they can get money circulating, but that makes it, even worse. You know what I'm saying? If they're trying to fight down a virus, we know that the money is in the cure. I'm sorry, the money's in the treatment, not the cure. Right, what I'm saying? But they're trying to figure out how to get rid of this thing. Otherwise, they'll be like, okay, yeah, go ahead and do what you want to do, and we'll just make a medicine for it to kind of ease the pain or ease the symptoms. But
you can't truly believe they want to get rid of COVID. I think they want to make you have shots and boosters and everything. I don't think they want to.
But what are they gaining from us getting shots and boosters? DNA changes, Wi-Fi, 5G.
Pfizer, I don't know exactly how it works, and I'm gonna lie, but Pfizer has to be getting some type of kickback. Like that. I mean, that's just how
of course, the
medicine world works.
But they're also producing as well. You know what I'm saying? So,
but long as you have to constantly, go into the hospital because you do have COVID. Say when you get COVID, you can track COVID. You got to go into the hospital. So the insurance has to pay that because you went into the hospital. And then, like they said, the beds are full and they have to kick you out. That's fine. But at some point, your Blue Shield or Aetna or somebody is paying something.
Exactly. So we know if they're trying to get people, if they're banking on people going into the hospital with COVID, then why even push something that will minimize the symptoms?
Minimize it, but not make it go away. So therefore, you still can have a.
But I'm saying, why would they not just have the people that are saying I'm not going to get vaccinated? Why don't they just be like, okay, yeah, fine, because that's where we're making our money. We're making our money from you guys going into the hospital.
So why do you think they're pushing the vaccine so hard if you don't think it's about money?
So we can actually get rid of the virus. So we can get so these variants don't keep popping up, just like it has in the past, just like all the other reasons why we have all these other vaccines.
But every time you get a variant, you're going to need a booster.
The only difference with the vaccine right now and the vaccines that we've had in the past is that we have a lot of people who are living in their parents' basements, who are doing their own research, and they're posting on social media for people to take as fact. And that's the God honest truth. That's the only difference. We've had vaccines are not new. Vaccines are not brand new. This is not nothing new. Like, we've had plenty of outbreaks, plenty of pandemics, plenty of epidemics that have popped up, and we've gotten rid of them. I've never had polio. I've never had smallpox. But guess what? It was a thing. How we get rid of them? Through vaccines.
Why they gotta be in their parents' basement?
What'd you say, Hodge?
Why is this vaccine being pushed free to us without living 9 months to us? Yet insulin is.
Because
well, see, that's a good point, because insulin's not free.
But like diabetes is not a virus. Like you pass from one person to another.
True.
That's why people keep comparing it to like, why is chemo not free? Because chemo is not a virus that I pass from me to you. No, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to like the whole beginning of this whole thing was contact tracing, contact.
Yes.
We're passing from one person to another, and this is how they're trying to get rid of that.
Well, it's airborne.
Yeah. So I mean, and then like we all know, especially with cancer, like there could be a cure for cancer.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. But that's about money.
Oh, all that.
Yeah, that's about money. But this is like expensive. It's like our economy is dying because of this virus. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Like people are like doing like last year. Yes, a lot of the billionaires made more billions, right?
Yeah.
But if we are broke and cannot afford to buy, those billionaires are not making billions anymore. True, you know what I'm saying? Like the billionaires that are winning, it's not going to last for long. There's only so much that can go around. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So that's my opinion.
No, I want your opinion.
Natasha said the cities and states don't want to pay for testing weekly. The employers are going.
She said they're going to block
unemployment claims.
See,
that's what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I totally agree. They're going to block the unemployment claims. It's going to be bad. Mm-hmm. You know, like United Airlines let 600 people go, and the governor, forcing New York to take this shot or not take this shot. It's going to be bad because these people are going to be broke.
Yeah.
And guess what that's going to do? It's going to add the numbers to the homelessness that's going on in all these states.
And now it's going to be a bunch of homeless people on top of each other with COVID, coughing on each other, sneezing on each other, and it's going to keep going and going and going and going and going.
It's just going to be, it's just something to look out for. It's a lot going on right now, so I think people need to have their ears and eyes open and really listen and be open-minded to everything that's happening and really try to figure out a way to be more impactful to help it and help your community and help your family and help your surroundings.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I believe. Okay, so we're gonna give you the bill. So we started off talking about Robert Kelly, of course.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing we started off was explaining why I haven't been here.
Right.
For the last 5 weeks, because I have not been here. But
and we are so happy to have her back.
But I am back, and things are back. My health is good. I did have a stroke, but I'm back. I'm back.
I did have a stroke. And,
I'm back.
Like it's a hangnail.
I know. I was only in the hospital 5 days, y'all. I'm back. So that was how we started off. And then from there, we talked about Robert Kelly. And then from there, we talked about Kelly Price. And then we have to let you know that Diddy and Bow Wow had a little powwow about Joey Chavez. I did good. I'm never the person who comes up with the titles of the show. So, and then from there, I really wanted to discuss the homelessness that's going on right here in Los Angeles County. And I just wanted people to be aware that right now, our homelessness situation is approximately 70,000 people. And I feel there is so much that can be done, or at least things that can be started and groundwork can be began, and it's not happening. So I would like to see more people get involved with that. And if you do not live in Los Angeles County, see what you can do to get involved in the homelessness situation in your city or state. And then from there, we talked about the vaccine mandate and how it's going to affect people who do not want to take it. And these jobs are telling them they're going to let them go. Are they going to be able to be let go and still have unemployment? Are they going to say that they're insubordinate and block their unemployment? So that's something we just have to wait and see, because we don't exactly know how that's going to go. Just recently, it came out that United Airlines will be letting 600 people go, throughout the United States because they do not want the vaccine. And my first concern was their unemployment, or are they going to consider this an insubordination? So we have to see exactly.
Yeah, we got to keep our eye out for that one.
We have to see how that's going to affect so many people. You have the governor of New York saying if hospital and healthcare workers are not vaccinated by 12 a.m. today or midnight tonight on New York time, they lose their jobs. once again, will they be able to get their unemployment? Are you going to say they're insubordinate and block their unemployment?
I wish Ashley still watched the show because she would know. Because she works in Ashley.
Oh,
Yeah.
she would know.
Yeah, she works in she has to get the vaccine for her field. Yeah.
I may ask her. Maybe she can give me some answers for next week. So that was our show today. I can
ask her too. I mean,
you could. That was our show today, you guys.
She's on my wall right here. We're still cool.
I can't stand
She's
it.
on my family picture.
that was our show today, you guys.
Oh man. Feels good.
It did. It was
Feels
a
good
show.
to be back. Feels good to be back.
I missed you guys, so it's good.
And we missed you, E. So yes, guys. Thank you for catching up with us. Hopefully you guys had time to in our downtime, you had time to catch up on some past episodes and give us a couple more listens and a couple more views and all that jazz.
Yep.
Please make sure that you spread the word about our podcast, guys. We are we're in
the process of some things.
Yeah.
So yeah, we need that.
So we need a little boostage.
We need that.
We need a little boostage. So yeah, if you are on Instagram, you can follow us at Talk O Tuesday 365. That's TALK OTUESDAY 365. And follow and subscribe on YouTube so you can get notifications for whenever we post videos or whenever we go live, whenever we have updates. And that is the Talk O Tuesday podcast, TALK-O-Tuesday podcast. And we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
Podbean.
anywhere you can find your anywhere you can find your podcast.
Yeah.
We're there, including
iHeartRadio.
Wow. All right. So yeah, guys, if you have anything you want us to talk about, if you have any questions, if you want to get any more information from what Eva said earlier today, slide into our DMs, or you can hit us on our email at tacotuesdayla@gmail.com. All right. So that is our show, guys. Thank you so much. It's so great to be back. And we will see you next week. Like always, I'm KC.
And I'm E.
And we are
Not Your Average Podcast.
Holla.
Good night, you guys.